Hello everybody, welcome to today's video where we're going to be celebrating Valentine's Day. And Jose ended up surprising me and took me over to the Eiffel Tower Restaurant, which I thought was very nice. And as soon as you go over to the elevator, there's somebody to open the elevator door for you. And there's also somebody there to be able to greet you as soon as you get off of the elevator. You're basically walking into the kitchen, so there was a display of food here. And because it was Valentine's Day, they also had flowers that you were able to get a la carte. Everything that did not come prepaid, you did have to go ahead and get a la carte. And first, when you walk in, you go ahead and see this bar. They had some cool looking bottles there. And then this was actually our view from our table. We were right across from Dre's nightclub, which I will show you a little bit later. But this is what it looked like on the inside. It was very beautiful. I thought that these Valentine's Day cards were so cute, and it was actually our dinner menu. So they had a very limited Valentine's Day specific menu that was there. And then this was our drink menu as well. We ended up not getting anything from the wine list, but they had a complete book. Okay, I wish I ended up getting a video of it, but they ended up getting a complete book. The drink that we ended up getting was called the French Polynesia. Basically, it just has rum, pineapple, passion fruit, coconut, orange, and nutmeg. Mine, of course, was a mocktail, but they were both very good. I would go ahead and rate the drink an 8 out of 10. Now, one of the things that we did go ahead and order was the bread right here. It was a la carte. It was about $8, but it was very delicious. Now for our starter, it was actually a celery root blanc manger. I think that's how you say it. It was just a crab salad. For me, it was the best dish of the night. It came served with this little fork, which we thought was just so cute. I would go ahead and give that a 10 out of 10, and Jose ended up rating it an 8 out of 10. And then for our appetizer, Jose ended up getting the warm foie gras, which is basically duck. He said it was a little bit gamey, but it was pretty good. And then it had a little crouton that came with it, and then he said that the orange little sauce that was with it was basically, the best way to describe it was like a smoky orange chicken sauce, if you can imagine what that tastes like. And then you just basically had to put everything all together for the flavors and for the textures to be there, essentially. He went ahead and rated this an 8 out of 10. Now, I stepped outside of my comfort zone here, and I ended up getting what was called Costco's Bay Sea Scallops. I had never had scallops before. It was also served with celery root that was chopped up, and the sauce that was on it was an apple cider vinegar sauce. And it had like a little apple leaf, like, I don't remember what it was called, but it didn't have a flavor to it, but it had the texture, so it gave the food that crunch. And because I never had scallops before, as you can tell by my face, I wasn't really a big fan of it, but I did go ahead and give it a try, and it was very, very soft. The best way I can describe it was like the fat on steak, I would say that. But when you eat everything all together, that's when everything came together, and the flavor and the texture was really good. I would go ahead and give that an 8 out of 10. Now this is our main dish. Jose ended up getting the filet mignon. He got it cooked medium. It was served with bone marrow bread pudding, some vegetables, potato croquette, and it had a little bit of a sauce on it. And he said that it was very good. He ended up rating this dish a 10 out of 10. And one of the things that we did notice about the food is that you do have to eat everything together, because some things are going to be heavily seasoned, some things are going to be seasoned very lightly. And that's what we found with all of the dishes. So his looked really good. It was a little too red for me, but he said that it was very good. And then for my dish, I ended up getting the roasted chicken breast. I have no idea what this is on top, don't ask me, but it gave it that crunch that you needed to be able to have. The best way I can describe it was like the crunch of a potato chip, but it didn't have a flavor to it. This was also served with spinach, and the spinach was delicious. It was so good. And everything came all together. And I will go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. But as you can see, we had no problem finishing everything that was on our plate, and Jose was just finishing off his last little bit. But everything was very good. And then for dessert, it was a special Valentine's Day dessert. It was a chocolate raspberry mousse. Jose gave it an 8 out of 10. I would go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10. And this is what it looked like on the inside with the mousse. And of course, I'm a klutz, so I had to go ahead and drop that. And of course, I had to start laughing at myself, but it was all very good. And of course, it had like another little texture thing where it was hard on the outside and then like gooey on the inside. If you've ever seen Ratatouille, we definitely referenced that movie All Night, where he's telling his brother that you have to eat everything all together, otherwise the flavors don't make sense, which is exactly what we found to be true. And then this is our view right over here, and unfortunately we had just missed the water show, but I want to get this view for you guys anyway. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!